Oh, 119. And it's only round two, game number one. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bay Bulls channel for another episode of Quick Strike. The Tampa Bay Lightning have defeated the Carolina Hurricanes by a score of 2-1, and they take game number one in Carolina. They now lead the series 1-0. As always, my name is Jake Ricker. Alongside me is my good friend and co-host Michael Wax. Michael, how you feeling after this hashtag Bolts win?
Huge. This was a great game, very low scoring game, but this was an awesome game between two really good teams, two really good goaltenders, and we'll get into what happened.
Yes, we will. So let's start off going into, well, actually, before the game even started, we learned that David Savard was out with a injury. He did not play today. We currently do not know the extent of that injury, but it actually got worse for the Lightning, which we'll get to later in the game. But never want your players to go down in playoff time, no matter who it is. That's an unfortunate loss for the Lightning, and hopefully it's only short term.
Yeah, and we're already getting stretched pretty thin at right-handed defensemen with the loss of Savard. Luke Chen bumps in the lineup, not as the seventh defenseman, but now he's rotating with Mikhail Sergachev. Honestly, I thought Chen had a pretty decent game.
He did.
Like, one of the things that you kind of knock Shen for, and by you I mean the entire fan base, is his lack of foot speed, which did come to bite him at times in this game because Carolina is a very fast team and they do quick passes that Shen wasn't really ready for. But he had some really smart plays. He had a slide on a 2-on-1 to break it up. I remember that very vividly. And he had some other really solid plays in the defensive zone and the neutral zone. So he did a great job of making up for Savard's absence. I really hope this Savard absence is not long term, though, because as we'll get into later, the Lightning are much more thin on the right side of defense than they were coming into this game.
Yes. So let's start off with that first period, though. The first period, it was a close game, ended up being 0-0 by the end of it. But, I think the Lightning got off to a pretty decent start. They had their moments where they had some offensive pressure, but about halfway through that first period and for basically the whole second half, for the most part, Carolina, it just felt like the ice was tilted towards the Lightning net. And Andre Vasilevsky, holy cow. I mean, he might assuming the Lightning advance in this series, he might have just already proven his case for MVP of the series. He was outstanding in that first period, making saves left and right. It was just amazing to watch him.
Yeah, he was absolutely incredible. I didn't think the Lightning played that well in the first period. It got better as the game went on, but you could definitely tell that after, I believe it was 4 days rest, they didn't have anything in terms of the start of the game. Because as we've been through this before, rest does not always equal rust. And for the Lightning, they rested, so they were, of course, rusty today. Carolina, because they went one more game against Nashville, had fewer days to rest. They had more pep in their step. They were ready. They got power play opportunities as well, and they didn't capitalize, but they made sure that the chances they generated were grade A chances. Really big shout out goes out to the penalty killers in this game. Just fantastic. Barkley Goodrow, Blake Coleman in particular. We said in the first round series, and you talked about this with Eric in the second round preview, that the loss of Barkley Goodrow was a big deal in the majority of that first round. It really impacted the penalty kill because Blake Coleman is a great penalty killer by himself, but he's much less effective with someone like Anthony Cirelli or Alex Killorn than he is with Barkley Goodrow. As a tandem, they're probably the best penalty killing duo in the NHL. So getting them back, Carolina did score on the power play later in the game, but they were virtually unstoppable when they were on the ice.
No question about it. And Goodrow was again very noticeable in this game. This is only his second game of the playoffs so far. There's a reason you picked him, Michael, for your difference maker in that series preview. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen, I still highly recommend you go check it out. I'll put it up in the top right corner for you to go see that if you want to check that out for yourself. But let's head into the second period. things got a lot better for the Lightning. Still a very close period. There were no periods in this game that I thought were dominant by either team. This is a close matchup. This is going to be a long series. Both these teams are very similar, the way they're built and the way they play. So it's going to be a long, close series, which is good for the NHL. Not good for us Lightning fans and our heart rate, but that's a whole nother story. But Braden Point would be the one to score the first goal of this game as he scores on the power play. Honestly, Michael, I didn't think the power play was looking that good. They're having a little bit of trouble entering the zone to get things set up, but put the puck on net and good things will happen. Braden Point gets a deflection in front of the net, and the Lightning take a 1-0 lead in the second period. And there were a multitude of penalties in that period as well. Both teams had power play opportunities, but the Lightning are the one that capitalized. They lead it 1-0 by the end of 40 minutes.
Yeah, the power play was really bad. Like in terms of generating chances, especially in that first one where they did end up scoring. They had one chance. They capitalized on it because Nedeljkovic went high. He thought that Hedman shot was going high. Braden Point tipped it low and went through Nedeljkovic's 5 hole. They tried something new, which we don't say in the playoffs very much. They went into the offensive zone by instead of drop back passing with Hedman dropping it back to Braden Point or Kucherov or whatever, they dropped it back and then they stopped at the blue line and had Hedman enter the zone. And I don't like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I would rather prefer that there was be no passing and Hedman would just enter the zone by himself and you set up from there. The drop back pass, as much as we hate it, it works the majority of the time. When it doesn't, it fails spectacularly. But when it works, it works. So deviating from that, I'm not really sure how much I like that. So if the Lightning are going to go away from a good thing, which was their round one power play, then I don't know if this is the way to do it. Like, I understand that Carolina is a much more active penalty killing unit than Florida was. But at the same time, like, you're surprising them with something that you've never done before. It really is a tale of, will they do what they normally do and potentially get stopped, or will they do something they've never done and fail?
Right. And, 40% in the first round. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right. So, but listen, if it ends up working out for the Lightning, that's great. But we'll have to wait and see how this plays out over the next couple of games. At the end of the day, the Lightning were 1 for 3 on the power play. So, not terrible, not great either, but you can't complain too much. You're not going to score on every power play opportunity. But let's talk about the third period. So, third period, the Lightning were on the penalty kill to start this third period after a late penalty in the second period. I believe it was the tripping call on Blake Coleman after an unfortunate event there where he tried to turn around, make a play on the puck, but ended up tripping one of the Carolina players. So nonetheless, Lightning on the penalty kill start the third, and Carolina capitalizes on it. It's Jake Bean who just shoots one from the point. It just squeezes in past Andre Vasilevsky. I think it might even got deflected as well off somebody, but it's a 1-1 tie game. But and Michael, I don't know how the Lightning scored this goal, but I'm going to take it. Barclay Goodrow comes along on the left-hand side, puts the puck on net, and it somehow slips in there, and the Lightning take a 2-1 lead in the third period. And then Carolina started pushing, and they gave it all they had. That final minute was especially crazy right there as Carolina tried to tie this game. They pulled the goaltender. McDonough stick breaks. You're thinking, oh my goodness. But the Lightning hold on and they get the 2-1 victory as mentioned. And we got a 2-1 or we got a 1-0 series lead.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about earlier how the penalty kill was good, and they weren't perfect. Carolina's got a really, really talented power play. They've got a lot of aces up their sleeve. And honestly, their goal comes from someone that I didn't even know was on their power play. You've got fantastic puck moving defensemen like Dougie Hamilton, like Jakob Slavin, Brett Pesci. All of a sudden, Jake Bean's on their second power play unit. He's the one that scores the goal. Very unfortunate bounce on that goal, by the way. The puck deflects off of Sorelli's inner thigh and finds its way past Vasilevsky, and it's a crazy deflection. So if that's Vasilevsky's only mistake of the game, I will totally take it because he had a couple of 10 bell saves. As far as the Goudreau goal, got a little lucky there. I'm gonna admit, like That is a goal that Nedeljkovic is probably going to have next time. But at the same time, I don't care because the Lightning took that goal and they went all the way to the end and they won the game. So a really, really solid performance in the third period specifically. They got better as the game went on, which is what you want to see out of the Lightning. And even if Goodrow didn't score that goal, I had all the confidence in the world that the Lightning would win that game in overtime because of how well they were playing in the third period.
They did look very good in the third period. They were playing hard. They did not sit back and play defensive, despite Carolina getting a couple of golden opportunities after they pulled the goalie there. But some of the final stats from this game, shots on goal were 30-38 in favor of Carolina. Face-off percentage just about 50-50, 47-52 in favor of Carolina. Lightning were 1 for 3 on the power play. Meanwhile, Carolina was 1 for 5. You look at the hits, Lightning 37 hits, Carolina 31. And then giveaways, Lightning had 7 giveaways, Carolina 12. Takeaways were 9 for both teams. So there's your couple of stats for the end of this game. But the Lightning ultimately do win this one and take a 1-0 series lead. So now the Tampa Bay Lightning will be taking on the Carolina Hurricanes in game number 2. Again, going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. This game will take place on Tuesday. So game number 2 Tuesday, we'll have a day off in between this game. But Michael, the saying goes is you always want to win one when you're away. If you can take one from the other team, then you're looking good. You're not in trouble till you lose home on home ice. And so far, the Lightning, just like they did in the Panthers series, they win one in their opposing team's building. That's a great start for them in this series.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that you can take at least one in your opponent's building, it is positive. And the Lightning took two from the Panthers, so that is the benchmark for themselves that they set. If they had split the first series,
That's a pretty high benchmark.
we'd be playing with house money if we had just split that series in the first round and we come into this series and we win game one. If you lose game two, you expect to win game two now because that's the benchmark that you set for yourself last series. Carolina, though, I fully expect them to come out in game two with a much, much better effort in terms of not necessarily like they didn't play too bad. I actually thought that they played better than the Lightning overall in this game. The Lightning capitalized on their chances more, and that's the ultimate reason the Lightning won this game. But I think the Lightning are really going to challenge that right side of the defense. We talked about David Savard. He's currently day to day with an upper body injury. John Cooper recently said that the Eric Cernak injury, where he got a helmet to the face and stayed out for the rest of the game, was nothing. He's going to come back for game two. That's a sigh of relief for Bolts fans.
Yeah, that is
But,
really good to hear.
but that doesn't mean that Luke Shen and Jan Ruda are out of the lineup. And our favorite Luke Shen moments are when Luke Shen is as a substitute, not as a permanent player, because he really starts to lose his foot speed even more if he's in the lineup for consecutive games. So Carolina is going to attack that. Jan Ruda has had some absolute grenades on his puck or on his sticks this series and last series. Carolina is going to attack that. It's really up to Hedman, McDonough, and Mikhail Sergachev to step up because, again, I did not think Sergachev played very well today. So
Yeah, I did think he played a little bit better than he did in the Florida series, but the bar was pretty low. To be fair, there.
one of the things about Sergachev, and I know we're moving off this a little bit, but like Sergachev was out there on the penalty kill. My first thought was, why? Like, I understand that, Cernak's injured, Savard's injured. Both of them are good penalty killing defensemen. Mikhail Sergachev is like the biggest hothead on the team. He's going to put them down 5-on-3. And you can't go down 5-on-3 against the Carolina Hurricanes.
No.
I feel like, me over the past couple of these videos has been like digging on Mikhail Sergachev. I like Mikhail a lot. Like, I think he brings a lot to the team. I think his positives when he's on his game far outweigh anyone on the team that's not named Victor Hedman. And he just hasn't brought it these playoffs. So I hope he does better in game two. I hope those rest days really helped him out because he was better in game one than he was in the Florida Panther series.
Definitely.
But again, like you said, it was a really low bar. So I expect that bar to get a little bit higher this time.
Right. And I would imagine the Lightning will go 11-7 in this next game, just because, with even though Cooper said Cernak was fine, which is good, I think they just left him out, just to be safe. You don't want to end up in another situation where if David Savard's out again and then you don't have Cernak and he gets hurt again or somebody gets hurt, you just don't want that situation. Well, I say 11-7. That's if David Savard comes back for game two. We'll have to wait and see, though, how that all plays out. Michael, anything else to add before I wrap up this video?
Yeah, I had a question and then a little piece from Carolina Hurricanes beat reporter actually. So
All
we'll
right,
we'll go
what
with
you
the
got?
questions first. So if we go seven defensemen, does Clayson draw in or does Foot draw in? Because we saw both on Twitter today.
I would have to expect Clayson just because he's the one we've seen. Foot hasn't played in a long time, and that'd be tough for him to jump into a playoff series in a big moment like this. I would love to see him come up and do that. I would not be against having Foot, but if I had to pick one, I just feel like Clayson is the one that's more than likely to come in just because he's been playing with the team a little bit more than Foot has as of late anyway. So that would be my guess, but hopefully we don't have to worry about that and David Savard is able to come back very soon.
Yeah, so we love talking to Eric Erlinson, and he was asked this question online. He says that John Cooper said that we talked about Savard being day to day, Cernak's okay, and if it's on the right side of defense, it's going to be Cal Foot. If it's on the left side of defense, it's going to be Frederick Clayson. So it really depends on, I think, injuries and what the Lightning want. If they want a left-handed defenseman as a seventh defenseman, they'll go with Clayson. If they want a right-handed defenseman to really cycle out uh, Chernak, Foot, Ruda, and Shen, they'll go with Foot. So honestly, I posed the question with a clear, like, it really doesn't matter in mind because it doesn't for the Lightning. If they go seven defensemen, they have two capable seventh defensemen, which is something that we have not said. I don't even think we said it last year in the bubble. Like we had the same six, and maybe Luke Shen would draw in, and they did seven defensemen a lot. But in terms of like who's eight, who's nine, didn't have that last year. You do this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to wait and see. You said you had one more thing from a Carolina reporter as well for us.
Yes. So this is coming from Sarah Sibian, Carolina Hurricanes beat reporter on The Athletic. She says that Nito Niederreiter, who missed game one, is very, very doubtful to return for this series, which would be a big blow to the Carolina Hurricanes. I think that would be a weakness that the Lightning should attack more. Should he be out for the entire series? Definitely for game two, though.
Yeah, that's definitely not good for Carolina. Anytime you lose a player, it's never a good thing, especially in the playoffs. But Niederreiter is a very good player for the Hurricanes, so that could be a big loss if he is out for the entire series. And sounds like you said definitely going to be out for game number two. So, but that's the way the sports are, and you do have to take advantage of that. And hopefully the Lightning can. And so we'll have to wait and see what they do. But guys, that's going to do it for us in today's video. So the Tampa Bay Lightning, they take a 1-0 series lead. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please be sure to leave a like down below. It lets us know that you're enjoying these videos. Helps us out a lot on the channel. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. Trust me, we have another video coming out very soon that you're not going to want to miss. So make sure you ring that bell. It'll be coming out very, very, very soon. But also, if you guys have any other thoughts about this game, what you think about the game, if you thought there was a certain player that we missed from covering this game, let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to hear any and all thoughts from you guys. So with that said, though, remember, your Tampa Bay Lightning are still your defending Stanley Cup champions.
Go Bolts.